Didn't hear a bad thing about Chiefs, so I was like, get me down here. And ended up fighting this 28-year-old. I actually ripped his bicep off the bone. Probably got one more year of rugby left in me. Nah, that's a joke, you don't have to put that in. So I played a little bit of juniors rugby. I wasn't really anything special. And as soon as we went into school, we went into school rugby, and yeah, I just fell out of love with it. I went and played league for a year. Again, like I kind of hadn't hit my growth spurts. I was this really chubby, short kid. And then I started picking up Jiu-jitsu and kickboxing through some family friends, divorced us, and picked that up and ended up falling in love with that sport and kind of made that my main sport and just pushed rugby and everything else to the side. And no one was really doing MMA, Jiu-jitsu and stuff in New Zealand at the time, so it was quite like a new frontier, but it was really good. We had a really solid club and really good people around us. I had trials to go to the World Champs, but at the time there wasn't a lot of people my age rolling around, so I ended up having to, well, there was people, but I was a bit on the heavy side. So I went to World's trials, but I had to trial as a man at 16, I think I was, and I pretty much just got dished up, really. Yeah, I just didn't have that strength. And my coach was like, oh, do you want to have a fight on the weekend? I was like, yeah, sweet, let's do it. Because one of our fighters had dropped out and ended up fighting this 28-year-old. And he was this tough farmer. I actually ripped his bicep off the bone. Yeah, an armbar, but he didn't tap. So, yeah, it ended up being a draw, but man, it was an interesting first experience. But yeah, I really like Jiu-jitsu because it's like, the best way I've heard it described is like human chess. I love the thought, because it's all thought process, like, yeah, it's just, you know, counters and like playing off the back of someone else. It's kind of similar to any sport, but it's just got its own uniqueness as well, because it's such a family environment, but then it's just you on the mats. You see lots of teams, professional teams now, are doing Jiu-jitsu in pre-season. It's becoming like part and parcel with rugby, and I think it translates very well, the two sports. And I also just think, man, if you can step one-on-one in the cage with someone, there's no fear for you on a rugby field, you know what I mean? Like, I do want to return to it one day. My old coach Lance always tries to get me when I come back home to go see him and train with him and stuff. And yeah, hopefully one day I will. It's a very humbling sport, I think, because you go on the mat as like a jacked 120 kg guy and get put to sleep by someone that's 60 kgs. You know, like, I love that sort of aspect of it. Yeah, I ended up doing that through most of my high school, and then at 17, I had to leave the club for personal reasons, and so I picked up rugby again because it was just the main sport that was played at school, and started playing second 15, and the coach Hone Rankin gave me a captaincy, so I think I played every single game that year bar one. And we made it to the semis, and that was kind of my first taste of proper rugby. And yeah, from there it kind of just, I was kind of just like, right, I've always wanted to be a professional athlete, always thought I could be a professional athlete. So then I just pushed on with rugby and found a real love for that sport, and the camaraderie with the boys and stuff. It kind of went hand in hand with my job as well, like very similar sort of camaraderie with building. And went and played Bays under 21s, my home club. Played a few PREM games that year at 18. Pushed into the PREM team the next year, was playing half a game of rugby or a full game of rugby for the 21s, and then going benching for PREM. Then the next year I was full-time PREM. And so that was kind of special. We had a really good group of boys, and yeah, I just fell in love with footy and pushed on there. Ended up getting a debut against Auckland with Harbour. And that's kind of semi-professional back home. And then, yeah, the Crusaders called. I had Britton Hall in my team, and he was like, "Man, you've got to get down there, it's going to be the best thing for you." And went down there and just pushed on really. Like I had an interesting year. It was the COVID year, and it was the same year I lost my nan, and it was weird because I couldn't really grieve her because I was in Christchurch away from all my family. So it was kind of a tough season for me. But I think I still came out of the year a better person and a better rugby player, having been at the Crusaders, and then went back to Harbour. Then got the opportunity to move over here, and yeah, been over here for the last 2.5 years now, and been loving the UK. Originally, Toby Booth got me over, and then yeah, so I was there for 2 years. Had a really good time, really good group of boys, but I think I always wanted to play Prem rugby, sort of seen as like the top comp, I guess, back home from over here. And yeah, I always just wanted to get a taste of Prem rugby, and these guys came along and said they were keen, and I jumped at the opportunity, and here I am. But yeah, Jack Walsh was there, great boy, good lad. Alex Cuthbert, Tom Francis. As soon as they heard that I was coming down here, they were like, Elvis as well, Elvis Tony. They were just like, "Mate, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it." And to be fair, yeah, I didn't hear a bad thing about Chiefs, so I was like, get me down here. I'm in a good place. I think playing some of the best rugby I've ever played, so I think I made the right call. Probably would have liked to be a 9 or a 10. Don't have the skill set for either of those. My size and my combativeness, I would say. Not that I'm necessarily like a combative person or confrontational, but I just enjoy that sort of rough and tumble. I guess it's a roll-on effect from Jiu-jitsu and stuff. I just enjoy that physicality, and I think that's why I suit that position. And I enjoy the physical test there as well in the back row. I'm a bit of a part-time dad. My partner is also chasing professional career with basketball. So for the first couple of years of Noah's life, she was playing professional basketball, and we've just had our second one, Benji. She's having a bit of a break at the moment, but she has full intentions to get back into it, so then she takes them with her, and she's the one doing all the hard graft, and I just sit back and play rugby. I'm really lucky in that sense. We've got a good support network, especially if she goes back home where she plays most of her professional basketball, and yeah, we're lucky in that sense that we're both able to chase our dreams and to play professional sports. I think being a dad's just another motivator really. Helps push you in those tough moments. You know, you're not just doing it for yourself anymore. Got another reason why.